To set up the game, make sure you have some paper and a pencil or pen so that you can keep score, and then make sure all the tiles that come with the game are inside the bag. Then have each player draw 6 tiles out of the bag to form their starting hand. Make sure when you draw the tiles to form your starting hand that you stand the tiles up so that only you can see what's on them. Now for the sake of this tutorial and to make it easier to see what's going on, I'm just having the tiles lay down. Then look at the tiles that you have and see what the largest line of tiles that you can make that is either all one color or all one shape without duplicates. Then tell the other players how many tiles are in your longest line. For example, the longest line that this player can make is 2. Either 2 squares or 2 stars, or 2 red. The longest line this player can make is 3 of circles. The longest line this player can make is 3 of purple, and the longest line this player can make is either 2 orange, 2 blue, or 2 stars. Whoever has the longest line will be the first player, and play will proceed to go clockwise. If there is a tie for the longest line that a player can make, then whoever is the oldest player will go first. Play still continues as clockwise. Once you've done everything I have previously stated, you are ready to begin. On your turn, there are 3 things that you must do in the following order. Place tiles, tally your score, and draw tiles. When you're placing tiles, you can place any number of tiles that you have onto the playing area as long as it is a single row and if it is either all the same shape or all the same color. For example, if this player went first, they could on their turn place these 2 red tiles and place them out because they are both red. Or he could take these 2 tiles and place them out because they are both stars. Or he could take these tiles and place them out because they are both squares. One thing that is incredibly important to remember is that you cannot have a tile that is the same type in the same line. Meaning that the maximum length that a line of tiles can be is 6 tiles long. Whenever you're playing tiles after the first player has played their tiles, you have to play the tiles in such a way so that at least one tile is touching another tile that has already been played and is part of a line. For example, this player could play these 2 tiles like this because this green tile would touch this red tile which has already been played previously. He could not, however, just place the tiles off to the side like this. And although all the tiles that you play have to be a part of one line, they do not have to touch each other. For example, instead of taking these 2 tiles and just simply placing them here, this player who played the tiles could instead place one tile up here and another tile down here. This would still be allowed because they are still part of one line. Once you have placed the tiles, you will then score for that turn. You score 1 point for each tile that is in a line that you created or add to. For example, the player who went first put these 2 tiles here, so they would score 2 points. This next player then took these tiles and placed them here. This player has now created a new row since it's going in a different direction, and so they will score 3 points. In another example, this player could take these 2 tiles and place them like this. He has now created a row and added to a row. So that means he will score 2 points for this row and 3 points for adding to this row, bringing a total to 5 points for this play. Once you have scored the tiles you've played, you will then draw from the bag enough tiles so that you're back up to 6. If you don't want to place any tiles, or if you can't place tiles, you can instead trade tiles with the bag. To do this, count as many tiles as you would like to exchange and set them aside. Then draw the amount of tiles that you've set aside out of the bag and add them to your hand. Then set all the tiles that you set aside back in the bag. One thing to keep in mind, however, is that if you do choose to trade tiles, that counts as your entire turn and you do not score points. Whenever a player completes a line of tiles of all the same shape or all the same color, then they have made a Qwirkle. A Qwirkle scores 12 points, 6 tiles for the line and 6 bonus points for completing the Qwirkle. It is also possible to make a Qwirkle when starting a new line like this. When this happens, you gain the 6 points for completing the row, the 6 bonus points, plus all the points that you get from starting the new row. For example, I completed this Qwirkle here by adding these 2 tiles, but I've also started a new row. This would mean that I would get 6 points for completing, another 6, which would be 12, and then 2 more for this new row, which would be a total of 14 points. Whenever there are no more tiles left in the bag, play continues as normal, but players do not replenish their hands. The first player to completely run out of tiles scores 6 bonus points, and then the game ends immediately. Once that happens, whoever has the highest score wins, but it is possible for the game to end in a tie. And that's everything you need to know in order to play Qwirkle. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to learn my thoughts on Qwirkle, or if you want more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more tutorials, reviews, and unboxings. Thank you as always so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.